Hello YouTube. Well, today I'm wiring up some LEDs. What I did, basically I picked up the RPM light canister set for my Slash 4x4. It doesn't come with LEDs. They give you some ideas of what to go with and whatever. I didn't like the idea that they were only 3mm, so I drilled them out for 5mm. So simple enough, just get a 5mm bit. Drill them out straight, and that's pretty much it. The back, same thing. I have the back light canister set, so I ran 2 LEDs to the back of this and hooked that up as well. So these LEDs, they're pretty cheap. Like, I picked them up from China. It was actually 20 of them. There they are, right there, pre-wired for $1.99. And they actually have the resistor already wired in line, so this will limit it, the input voltage or current, so it won't fry the LED. So it's perfect for this application. So I've ran them now on 5 volts, 11 volts, whatever. It's all the same. They put out the same light, so it's perfect. I'll post a link in the description of where to pick these up. Basically, right now what I'm doing is just shortening the wires. Essentially, like the Traxxas light kits and stuff have the same essential wiring. You only really need to have the resistor on the first red, assuming you jump it to each LED like that. But just for the ease of soldering, these came all wired. I'm just going to keep the resistor in line on each positive and just feed them all independently. Simple enough to do. So what I've done here, they were all wired in. I had a big clump of wire kind of all taped up in here, and I didn't like it. And I want to be able to disconnect them when I take the chassis apart. Like, basically, if I want to pull the front diff or the front clip off, I can easily disconnect the lights and not have to worry about it. So I'm in the process of converting it over right now. Basically, what you're going to need for that, really, it's just a couple servo connectors, the male and the females. I've wired this one up myself. This was an old Traxxas one, but from a power tap, I think. It's a little big, but it'll work for what I'm using. You can also use, like, let's see if I can find it here. It's a Y splitter. So there it is. Basically, you can take these. A lot of times what I'll do is actually just cut the shrink wrap off and desolder them and use them like that. These cost like $6 or something like that. Or else you can actually buy the connectors. I found them now. They're kind of hard to find. My local hobby store doesn't carry stuff like that, which is kind of dumb. But you can actually buy the connectors, the pins, and the little crimping tool that you need to fix them all individually. Some guys do it that way. I find it's just as easy to do it this way if you know how to solder. It's pretty straightforward. So I'm not cutting this one up as of right now, but basically what I'm going to do is just solder these all together. So I'm going to run, I've already got these already twisted together. Now I'm going to solder that, and then solder basically this guy onto that side of the lights, and then this guy onto the other side of the input, and I'll connect them together. Okay, so I've got all the wires tinned. Basically, what I do is I'll take all the wires, strip them so you got a little bit of room there. I'll twist them all together really tightly with a set of flat pliers like these. So twist them all up tight so they're already held together before you even tin them. Did that for both, and then tin these. So now make sure that you put your shrink tube on the connector first. You can't do it after, right? So put that on first, then I'm going to solder this onto there, bang bang. Just make sure your shrink tube, then, or sorry, I got it backwards there, obviously, red to red, black to black. Shrink tube it. Do the same for this side. This side's a little harder, you only got 2 wires, so you're just soldering one wire to one wire together. You need pretty small shrink tube. This is the smallest that I've been able to find. I think it's 1/8 inch. I know there is smaller, I just can't find it where I live. But anyway, I'll get it all wrapped up and show you the final product. Okay, sorry about the mess here, but there we have it. So I just thought I'd give you a close-up shot here. of the wiring. Essentially there's 4 wires, right? I just ran them into 1 each. Because essentially that's all you need. They're powered independently. They really don't draw much for power. So one thing I did notice with these LEDs, there's a weak point right up where they join the resistor. So I've kind of hot glued these ones tight so they can't move. I'm hoping to make them a little stronger anyway, but for $2 for 20, can't really go wrong. So basically that's it. I'll put this back on the truck now. This was the other side that I wired in. As you can see, it's got the male plugs inside there, just the 2. Just the black and the red. Just pay attention to the black and the red. You gotta have the polarity the same. Now these run, I kind of made this harness myself. I actually just cut all the excess wiring, like these that I got off of those LEDs. They all came in big chunks like this. So when I cut off 4, I had a bunch. So I just kind of soldered them all together and kind of made this patchwork of LEDs. So basically here's the one from the back. Oh wait, that's from my fan, never mind. So these come from the back. Again, it's 2 into 1 right here. And these ones carry in. And then they split to plug into power, and then it carries on to the front. So essentially I've just kind of joined onto it to power it. And then this one plug powers the front and the rear lights. So pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do. This isn't going to stay like this. Essentially this plug is going to be for my body lights, and then I'll have a Y plug down here for my fan, and to plug in all these lights as well. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions regarding the wiring or part numbers, that kind of thing, they should all be in the description. But if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks again for watching.